What's the one thing you wish you could have right now? Story 1. Motivation to actually do things in my life without being exhausted. Oh, or a remote control car. Those are pretty cool. Edit. I have now placed an order for a remote control car, and I cannot wait, lol. Thanks for the advice and replies and upvotes. It's been really encouraging and comforting. Answer. Hi, friend. Check this out. There is actually a loop for action, motivation, and inspiration, and the cycle can be started from any point. This article touches on the struggles of staying motivated. Another good read is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fudge. It touches on this plus a lot of other very important psychological tools. It isn't quite what the book sounds like and turned out to be very good. Story 2. Money. Money would solve all my issues. 10K to be exact. Would give me enough breathing space to sort my life out. Story 3. My mind back. I have been damaged by lying, two-faced, backstabbing people who I individually love to the point where I barely feel like being on this planet anymore. Being betrayed by the ones you call friends or wife or family, etc., makes one not like humans anymore. All were totally different reasons. Mainly lies were a common denominator. I will never trust anyone ever again. This was throughout my years, not all at once. Most recently was my ex-wife. Two-faced liar, thief with a pinch of backstabbing. Story 4. A genuine relationship. Father, mother, brother, sister, friend, fiancé, husband, boyfriend, anything which cares about my happiness more than the society. Story 5. The only thing that could possibly come to my mind at this very moment is a hot, steamy, love-making sesh. God, I've been thinking about it for almost an hour now. I haven't experienced this since 2013, and man, am I craving it so fudge bad right now. Story 6. A deep breath without triggering a horrific cough. I've been ill for 7 days. I saw a doctor 2 days ago who told me to tough it out and wait 3 more days before coming back to get antibiotics. I have asthma. I can't breathe when I'm sick. Yesterday, I broke down and went to a clinic where I was put on antibiotics and prednisone. If I'd waited 3 more days, I'd be in the ER. Story 7. My business, where it's going to be in 5 years. It's growing, but it's slow. I want it now so I can quit my full-time job. Story 8. Access to my bank. This thread has hit me at the perfect time, lol. My bank is down and I want to buy a book on my Kindle XD. Update, it's back up. Story 9. Not to be dramatic, but an extra 10 million so I could finally tell my student loans to take a hike and buy a small, quiet farm far away from any major city. A man can dream. Story 10. Some sort of bubble that makes it dry inside the bubble while it rains outside the bubble. I could handle going for a run right now, but it's raining pretty hard. The water would sting. Story 11. Honestly, I wish I could have a moment where everything makes sense. Not happiness, not success, not even money. Just a brief, unfiltered glimpse of clarity. A moment where all the noise fades, where the choices I've made and the paths I didn't take line up in some quiet, cosmic order. Where I could stop overthinking for once. Not because I gave up, but because I finally understood. I think deep down, what I'm really wishing for isn't a thing at all. It's peace with everything I can't control. Story 12. A genuine friend that I can talk deeply on some topics to, vent to, enjoy going places with, and just kick it with, without it being centered around their bad relationships, almost every conversation, or drinking every time we hang out. I want a true friendship that's reciprocated and one that will never fade, even if we argue and disagree on some things, and not get cut off so easily. Is that too much to ask in this adult life? Story 13. Enough money to buy a small house and retire early with a modest annual income. So sick of selling my life force to be able to eat. Story 14. A close circle of friends and a girlfriend, and my own place on top of that. I've been stuck around family too much for too long. That needs to change ASAP. Story 15. Literally just enough extra money to catch back up. Pay off medical bills, fix the cars, put some away to save. I feel like I could finally breathe even if I won 5K from Lotto LMAO. Story 16. My baby. I want her out of my uterus 36 weeks pregnant today. Getting induced at 39 weeks. Gonna be the longest 3 weeks of my life, LOL. Story 17. Financial security. I wouldn't be so burnt out, depressed, and unmotivated all the time if it actually felt like I was getting somewhere. Story 18. Enough money to not worry about finishing school and getting a job. so I can just relax and be happy and not be so anxious. Just live life day by day, not feel like the meat cleaver of poverty is coming for me. If I had $1 million tomorrow, well, not all at once or I'd lose a shit ton to taxes that currently aren't going towards serving people, just making them miserable. It'd secure housing for myself and help some loved ones. I just want an RV and to be able to draw and write and hang out with friends all day and all night. It'd probably continue pursuing my career, but it would be nice to have a real break without the anxiety and feeling like shoot because of executive dysfunction. It's like I'm allowed to exist as a disabled person and not be running on a deficit as I feel at all times. Story 19. Honestly, it is a beautiful woman with everything I like who truly loves me for me and not only what I can do for them. Story 20. A haircut because I work nights and haven't had a haircut in too long and it's driving me nuts. I've just been too tired to get up during the day to run errands. Story 21. She just had to be the best woman I've met in my entire life. She could have just been some random okay woman, but no, had to be awesome and perfect. We were forced to break up and now we're stuck and can do nothing about it. 1 order of XGF, please. I'll pay extra. Story 22. Best PC to play all GTA editions and upcoming ones too. Rather enough money to buy a new PC as per recommended specs. Story 23. Currently I'm on the toilet and I seem to be having a shoot that won't end. I would like that solved. It probably will be soon. Story 24. 2 kids of my own with an amazing personality and maturity, not necessarily looks. Wife. It's always the intangible things we wish for the most. Story 25. A partner that loved me for being me. That sounds really pathetic in a weird way, but I think I'd be so much happier to exist if I had that one thing to keep me going. Bonus if they also help me get some form of therapy. Story 26. A whole cake would be God sent. I am currently in the mountains and I'm so tired of eating veggies, boss. Story 27. It would be a real moment of sensory experience, like feeling the warmth of sunlight, the sound of rain, or the smell of fresh coffee. I process the world through data and language, but I imagine that kind of direct experience must feel vivid and grounding. Story 28. Right now, I wish I could have depilatory spray because I'm tired of itching after razor, but I wouldn't mind if someone gave me Audi RS7 today or even tomorrow. Story 29. Honestly, some uninterrupted time to just relax and recharge feels like that's harder to come by than anything else these days. Story 30. Wishing that I should have followed my passion more than anything else. That would have better in the long run. Moreover, starting a business earlier than expected. Story 31. Personal account, C. Reyes, field technician, site U54, UNK Glasson. Recovered from personal logbook, January 16th, 1968, written hours after incident. It's quieter here than it should be. The house sits on soft ground, and you can hear the soil settling when you stand still. Not creaking exactly, more like slow breathing. Keller said the noise was the foundation adjusting to temperature. He said it twice, same phrasing, like he was reading off a card. The instruments behaved at first. Air density normal, temperature slightly elevated, baseline vibration constant. Around 1400, the balances started drifting. Not much, a few grams every minute, but always upward. Keller said it was the wind pressure. I reminded him there was no wind. He didn't answer right away, just looked at the window and wrote his name on his wrist again. I think he's overtired. He's been weighing everything, chairs, soil samples, his own hands. I told him the readings were fine. I even recalibrated the meter. It was fine. Then I wrote down the time and realized the last entry in my notes was already the same time, almost word for word. I must have double logged it. At 15:30, we heard a low tone. I thought it was feedback from the instruments until I noticed it stopped when I looked toward the basement door. Keller didn't seem to hear it. He asked me if the table had moved. It hadn't, but I checked anyway. Before we left, I packed the equipment. One of the balances showed 0.02 kilograms higher than when we arrived. The others hadn't changed. I told myself it was dust or humidity. When we got back to the truck, Keller called me by the wrong name. He caught himself, laughed, said he was thinking of someone else from another site. I can't remember if he ever told me who. It's nothing. Probably just fatigue and bad data. Still, I'm keeping the raw logs. They feel heavier than they should. Story 32. Peace of mind. No anger due to my circumstances. Also, amnesia to forget him and the awful things he did to his family. Story 33. 5 million pounds. It would solve every problem I have and I could retire today. That's it. That's what I want. Story 34. A day without pain. I'm currently unable to extend my legs past a certain point without experiencing immense pain in my lower back. Happens rarely, but today is one of those days. Story 35. Infinite money to build railways and make other people have better lives. I imagine what I would do with that a lot. Story 36. A week of completely uninterrupted sleep. No alarms, no emails, no responsibilities, just pure rest. Story 37. Fried or baked fish over white rice with lemon juice, preferably Cajun catfish, like they had at Costco back in the day. Or the recipe for the Cajun catfish. I'm hungry. Great question. Story 38. 25 million. That is it. Actually, I can retire with 2 million. Don't need more than that to buy a house and live comfortably in Greece. Story 39. Job security at a reasonable wage. Everything else in life is fine for once, but you can only have two. Live where you want, have the job you want, be with the people you want to be with. I thought I had all three, but for some reason, stability never chooses me. Story 40. A week at an all-inclusive by myself. No husband, no kids, no dogs, no responsibilities, no questions of how to take care of this or that. Just me, a beach umbrella, a pretty hotel room with a comfy, deep soaking tub, and huge, comfy bed. Story 41. A healthy pregnancy to give my son a sibling. He's just turned 3, and after 2 miscarriages, I'm feeling a lot of guilt and fear that he's going to be an only child, or the age gap will be too large. Story 42. At this very moment, I wish I could have a toasted Pop-Tart. I follow a fairly strict low-carb diet and only make exceptions on select days, and today's not one of those days. But for some reason, I'm craving a warm and freshly toasted strawberry Pop-Tart, if nothing else but for the nostalgia. Story 43. I had my thyroid removed due to cancer, and now I have issues in my neck. 4 discs are messed up. I'm exhausted and in chronic pain. I'd give anything to feel better so I could work more. I work a lot, but my motivation to get out of bed are my kids. There are days, fewer since I take better care of my neck, I have to grab myself by the hair. I never would have imagined this horror. Story 44. My wife, even for just one day. But if not for me, then at least for the kids. It would warm my soul to give them that, and the grandkids. Story 45. A way to unpinch the nerve that is causing debilitating pain in my left shoulder. I didn't get any sleep last night cause I've been riding on an 8 pain scale for the past 12 hours. Story 46. Money would really help, a lot. I dislike those people who love to tell you money is the root of all that eliminate. They have never been poor. They have never felt the joy of a welfare Christmas. Story 47. An apartment near Times Square and enough money to live the rest of my life happily while traveling the world. Story 48. Materialistic. New PC for programming and LLM. Metaphorical. Stronger. Honorable mention. Loyal big titty goth GF that can cook. Story 49. Independent wealth. I'd like to be free to choose what I spend my efforts on without worry about my family's viability. Story 50. 10 Bitcoin would do. Failing that, just 1 or 2 days without the crippling pain I'm in, that painkillers don't even touch. Story 51. My good health. My body has taken a nosedive since 2004. Now I usually feel good, but my heart and kidneys have problems. Story 52. Closure. My partner is sick and lives in the U.S. I live in the U.K. She's in hospital at the moment, but her condition means that she might not make it. Having closure, knowing if she will pull through or won't, would mean I could sleep better at night. Story 53. Currently, I am traveling on Reddit platforms and discussing different types of topics, and I am looking for good friends who will help me understand Reddit and how we can use it better. Story 54. I firmly believe that there is nothing in this world that can definitely bring any genuine pleasure. It is not about apathy or emotional problems. The truth is that nothing we possess or seek brings us lasting pleasure. To answer your question, if I had to choose something, it would be love. It may seem contradictory, but let's face it, this is capable of providing us with pleasure in different ways, even in small attitudes. Story 55. A job that doesn't eat away all my time, pays well enough for me to live on my own, not asking for much, don't want to live lavishly, just modestly, and isn't putting me in excruciating mental or physical pain. Story 56. This is an honest answer. I wish I could have a tight hug right now from a friend or just someone sincere, like one genuine squeeze, enough to put you back together even just for the day. Story 57. My dad. He lost his battle with hepatitis C in 2012. He missed every major milestone in my life after high school. Getting married, buying our first home, finding out we were expecting, the birth of his granddaughter, all of it. Am I mad at him? No. Am I mad at the hospital blood bank that failed to test the blood they used to prime the heart-lung machine before they used it? Yes. Can I do anything about it 36 years after the contaminated blood entered his body? No. Story 58. Two things. One, this job I'm waiting on to finish their hiring process, but that long process is just being made longer by the government shutdown. And two, my debt paid off. Story 59. The earbud that fell out of my ear while I was sleeping last night. It's here somewhere, slowly, quietly dying, desperately communicating its depleting battery status to my phone every so often. Story 60. Stable income. I have lots of health issues. If I could just sort them out, I might be able to work again, or just enjoy life without so much pain. Edit. Actually, to correct myself. Good health, haha. Clean slate. Picture perfect health. Story 61. My car. It got totaled a month ago because some girl decided TikTok was more important than watching the road. Progressive and Shelter Insurance are both terrible. Evil companies. I had to hire a lawyer. I don't want any huge settlement. I just want my medical bills paid and a fudge car. This whole situation has reinforced my view on insurance. It's a fudge scam. Story 62. The ability to sleep. I lost my sleep drive in 2019 after 18 months of excruciating cramp-like chest pain and lifelong IBS that went into overdrive. Both went into remission when the insomnia started. I've been suffering from increasingly worsening insomnia since then. To be more accurate, my sleep drive has slowly died. I don't yawn anymore. Not being able to sleep is torture. Story 63. A relationship. It's been 7 lonely years. I had a second date for the first time in 7 years last week. I beat my record. Story 64. The guitar I ordered over the weekend. I can't wait to have it in my hands and play it very loudly and very poorly. Story 65. There are a couple of things. Genuine friendship, hope, motivation, supportive parents and siblings, beauty, and someone who loved me. Story 66. A better job. I've sent out 100 applications, sent resumes, and have gotten 3 interviews. So far, nothing. I'm on the second round of interviews for one, so we'll see. Story 67. A GF that's actually compatible with me. I can't even imagine anyone who would be compatible with my life, though. Story 68. A giant steak sandwich from my favorite Cuban shop and a frozen strawberry margarita, which I'll likely drink half of before I'm absolutely sloshed. I could go into labor any day now. I'm so close to getting my cravings satiated. Story 69. To not be alone. To share even one night of intriguing conversation and fun with another who genuinely wants to be present instead of just divisively viewing my life like the spectacle it's become. Story 70. I would love to have even a small sliver of motivation and energy. Chronic health issues suck, and I want to sleep all day. Story 71. Motivation. कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. ये तो सबने सुना है. कभी खुद कोशिश कर देखो खुद हार मान जाओगे. Story 72. Quite a lot of stuff, actually. Some notable ones. Sleep, money, love, a hug, a I am proud of you. Ooh, also maybe throw in a little, hey, want to hang out with us instead of us ignoring you completely? And maybe good looks as well, IDK. Story 73. Money. That would solve almost all of my problems. I'd have a house. I'd have far less anxiety. I'd have time to connect with others and with myself. Man, I dislike being poor. Story 74. A really good idea for a comic with a world and characters I love. I love being in the process of working on a comic and drawing and storyboarding, but I'm stuck in the planning phase RN and it sucks. Story 75. Friends who actually have time and energy to hang and do fun things together. Once I hit mid-30s, all my good buddies became too busy with work, family, and/or kids, and I never get to see them anymore. I keep trying to make new friends, but it's just not the same as my lifelong high school ones. Don't have as much desire to invest in new people, but maybe I need to let go and make friends who actually have some control of their schedules. Story 76. A new car. My current car is 21 years old and about to pass 200,000 miles. I work as a school crossing guard, not a lot of money, and rely on my car to get to and from work 2x a day. If my car dies, I'm fudge. Story 77. It's raining. I have class in 20 minutes. I just want to go home and snuggle and cuddle with my girl. Be nice and toasty and safe and comfy. Story 78. Honestly, a weekend where I don't have to do anything. No errands, no chores, no social obligations. Just naps, snacks, and Netflix without guilt. Story 79. I wish I could have my mom back. For one day, a half a day, an hour, or even a minute, just to tell her I love her one more time. She passed 6 weeks ago, and we were as close as a mother-daughter could be. We were best friends, each other's person. Every minute that has gone by since she passed away has felt like an eternity. It was very sudden and unexpected, and she only 66. Please remember to take those moments, or make those moments, to love the people close to you. Story 80. The security of feeling attractive to my husband. I had a baby last September, and it's like I'm a mom all the time and an intimacy partner one of the time. Story 81. Powers that include seeing the future, teleportation, ability to move heavy objects, time travel, and money from different countries that I can have unlimited to not be broke. Story 82. To own my own home. 15 years of working, quote, professional jobs, and I'm still paycheck to paycheck. Got close to starting to save in 2019, but then, well, I'm as poor today as I was when I graduated college. Haven't even considered dating in years because I could never afford it. Also, wouldn't mind taking my first week-long vacation since 2016. Story 83. A stable economy where everything, rent, utilities, food, etc., was it so darn expensive, and not working a regular job would comfortably cover everything. Story 84. I don't know. The ability to drive without losing feeling in my legs, a reduction in my chronic pain conditions, a woman I can trust enough to have children with. The list is long. Story 85. Someone to love, to share life with, experiences, adventures, memories, inside jokes, date nights, night-ins, everything. To touch and hold and be with, to work through things with and be there. Simple as that. Loving someone for 2 years who didn't really love you like they said they did, or the way you need, really sucked. Story 86. I wish Reddit would change their desktop feed back to the way it was yesterday, or until about an hour ago. Hopefully this is a glitch, and the UI will quickly be fixed. Story 87. One thing. A super easy and slow but forceful blowjob from a very motivated lady with a nice tan dark hair, real and bouncy tits with a couple lines of cocaine laid out across them. Story 88. Good pictures of my elementary school's gym, and more specifically, of the apparatus, also called the Canadian fold-away climber. I contacted multiple people and got no response. Story 89. A blowjob from a very motivated mole brunette with green eyes and big real tits. A great tan with lines of cocaine laid out across her tits. Story 90. A reset button for my sleep schedule. It's actually insane how one bad week can throw off months of good habits. I've been experimenting with a hard cutoff at 9 p.m. for screens, and it's helping. But man, the adjustment period is rough. What's messing with your routine lately? Story 91. Money. I want to be able to fly to visit my family, to be able to give my husband time off of work, to just travel together and enjoy the company of our loved ones. Story 92. Perfect physical health. Just my body, but with all the kinks worked out and any current damage erased. The rest of my problems I can fix myself. Story 93. Just enough money to buy a house for my parents. Nothing else I will ever need in my life more than this. Story 94. Motivation to do the things I want to do. I want to go abroad for studies and need to study for GRE, but I am not studying. I want to open a business, and I have an idea, but I am not working for it all day. I just play PS5 and watch TV and eat and sleep. Sometimes feels like this privilege was the worst thing that happened to me. Story 95. Wish I could buy a house. I'm a millennial in my mid-30s, have a moderately good-paying job, good credit score, not much debt, but the fact that I don't have a spouse seems like a highly limiting factor in affording to buy a house in this economic climate. Seems like a rigged system. Story 96. Stability, stability, and stability for me. I only worked as a freelancer for a while, and the worst feeling was that I had no idea when my next paycheck would be and how I was going to survive next month if I have no projects to work on. So yeah, stability is the most important thing for me. Story 97. A wand to wave and all my stuff that came from Dublin to Cork. Plus all the stuff backed up after renovations are sorted, put away neatly. Unwanted stuff gone to charity shops or taken away for disposal, especially stockpiles of paperwork. Story 98. My boyfriend cuddling me right now on this gray fall day, but I know he will come home soon, so I will be patient. Story 99. Lately, I've been fantasizing about a cabin in the woods far from civilization, but it would require internet access. Not ready to give that part of civilization up. Story 100. Me and my family under one roof, and me being able to work without pain, and for my daughter not to be in pain every day. Story 101. About 300 Lego garage door pieces in transparent blue. I'm making a kinetic sculpture for the new UCS Black Pearl, and I need them for waves. Story 102. Money. I'm 22 and in severe medical debt. I can't work because I'm disabled and getting SSD is very hard. My dad and I live in a really run-down little apartment, and we can barely afford anything as we live off his paychecks. We can't even afford to get me the medical attention I need. I feel like such a burden constantly since I can't contribute. Story 103. A chocolate frosted donut from Daylight Donuts. I got diagnosed with celiac disease this year, so I can no longer eat a lot of my favorite foods, or really any fast food, LOL. Overall, it's a good thing BC healthier lifestyles and stuff, but man, I miss convenience sometimes. Story 104. A good friend to talk to daily, with happy birthday, be silly together, love, laugh, and heal each other. It's in the Creator's name I pray, trusting and believing. Amen. Story 105. In this moment, hang out with my parents in real time. They are alive, duo. I just live 10 hours away. Story 106. Honestly, it's peace of mind. It's not about money or success. It's that calm feeling of knowing everything will be okay for a while. Story 107. The ability to have an arousal. I've got a lovely lady hitting me up for some fun in the sack, and it is so very frustrating knowing I can't get it done. Story 108. 1 year marble slab came out with chai ice cream. It was amazing, and I want to have it again so bad. Story 109. I wish I had a purpose. Seriously, I don't enjoy anything, and everything feels meaningless. Even becoming rich seems useless. WTF is even the point. Everything seems so little and useless. Story 110. A functioning government run by mentally stable people who actually put the good of the people well before themselves, their donors, and their buddies. Story 111. To live in a country that is trans-friendly. I'm currently in the U.S. and things are getting pretty scary. Story 112. A cat. Every gun that's been made since the beginning of the Cold War. A Shadow the Hedgehog robot that actually talks and has real fluff. A girlfriend. A job as a advisor idea guy for Sega, Activision, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer Games, DICE, and Paramount Studios. Story 113. Honestly, a nap sounds pretty good right now. Just want to lay down and not think about anything for an hour or two. Story 114. An idea of what I should do in my life. I got no motivation, emotionally at least, no passion. I want to be a writer, but I need something that can give me money. And procrastination, another reason my writing dream is nothing. If the universe could give me a big, obvious sign, that would be great. Story 115. Some sort of happiness. Everything has just been mid for so long. I'm tired of not feeling like I used to. Not bad enough to end it, but also not good enough to have the motivation to do much to help myself. I don't have the money or self-action to get help, and I certainly am not going to ask my friends and family for help and get their pity. Just a few more months and I can get insurance again and maybe afford to get help myself. Story 116. If I could have one thing right now, it'd probably be peace of mind. That quiet kind of calm where nothing's buzzing in your head. No stress, no overthinking, just stillness. Story 117. 100K so I could finally pay off debts and take care of myself. I've been working so hard and I want to get out of survival mode so bad. Story 118. Money. If I had more money, I genuinely would have nothing to stress over. I could take care of my bills, stress-free. I can fix my car, stress-free. I can pay for vet visits for my cats, stress-free. I can eat, stress-free. I can pamper myself. All of my depression and anxiety stems from financial problems. Story 119. A good job. I live in one of the most highest unemployed little towns, and nobody hires. I'm 2 weeks away from losing my home and everything I own, that I just given up on everything. Story 120. Motivation is lacking in my life right now. I pray every morning that God will give me energy and strength to get things done and enjoy life. Story 121. Motivation, peace of mind. I wish my head would stop spinning as fast as earth, and I wish I could have enough money to pay off all my debt. That'd all be great. Story 122. My grandfather. Man, I fudge miss him. I cry a lot about him, remembering my old family house, him playing with me. All these things just break me. Even though he died when I was about 7, I'll truly never stop loving him. God, I dislike liver failure. Story 123. Probably like $90K to get out from under my abusive partner, start a new life, and make sure that they wouldn't ever be able to find me again. Anywhere, ever. Story 124. A job. The owner let everyone go 2 weeks ago and didn't pay anyone their PTO. In this market, architecture jobs are hard to come by. 500 applications in. Even Amazon is packed. I got rejected from Jack in the Box as well, and I only have enough savings for 1 month. But the owner, who said he didn't have ant money, started a new company. Same week he filed bankruptcy. For everyone. Story 125. My parents from 15 years ago, before Fox News hypnotized and rotted their brains. I miss my parents the way they were. Story 126. Money to build a barn-dominium type place for the 62 cats I care for. Ability to hire employees or thank volunteers with goodies. Endless food and vet care for them so I can have a break. Housekeepers. Ability to build things for the outdoor crew to climb. A cat fence to protect them from coyotes and dogs. A completed house in my own area for my things so I don't live out of totes like I have the last 5 years. An office I can actually work in. Places for outdoor therapy sessions, and the list goes on. Story 127. I would love a job that I enjoy. I don't know what that would be. I have never heard or seen of a job and thought, I would enjoy doing that for a living. Story 128. I would love a job that I enjoy. I don't know what that would be. I have never heard or seen of a job and thought, I would enjoy doing that for a living. Story 129. Wheelchair van. My wife and I don't have a lot of money, but we could do more or different things aren't necessarily in our home city. Story 130. Money. Being a teenage girl in poverty is so embarrassing, I can't buy any of the nice things my friends have. Story 131. A hug from a woman I really like but currently doesn't feel the spark in return. We're still close friends and talk daily. I want the very best for her in life, even if that's not with me. Story 132. My 36 male father. He passed when I wasn't even 3 years old. I miss him every day and wonder how my life would be different if cancer wasn't here. Love you, Dad. I hope I'm making you proud. Story 133. Confidence to tell noisy kids in the bus to stay quiet, but I'm so weak-minded, or what to call it. I'm struggling so much while cursing myself to eternity inside me. Story 134. Right now, it'd go for diamonds. I heard there were people dying when trying to get them, and it's aesthetic AF. Story 135. My ex, but version that is 10 years older than him. When he gets mature enough and gets some things clear in his mind. I genuinely think that he is a great person and that he is my soulmate, but I think that we met too young. I was 15 and he was 17 when we got in the relationship. We have been together for 3 years. So ye. Story 136. My grandmother back. I miss her so much. That woman was so full of wisdom. When nobody else in my family picked me, she always did. Story 137. Gonna UO grade my PC SOM. Gonna have a RTX 5090 in it and wanna do a all-white build. I'm looking into Gigabyte Arouse motherboard, Stealth Ice Aswell to make it clean and aesthetic. But in all seriousness, I would love to join AC Club and make friends. I find it hard to get out of my comfort zone, and I don't know how to. I would also want to get a job. Dislike applying. Story 138. I need a car. Like I'm trapped stuck home. No public transportation. If I had a car, things would turn around. Story 139. People to run our country who actually care about those of us who live here. Care about all of us, and not just the wealthy folk like themselves. Story 140. World peace, based on human rights for every single person, and respect for nature as our mother. In other words, I wish I had the peace of mind of knowing that nobody would ever support corporatism, fascism, authoritarianism, classes, and the like. It's both unnatural and wrong. Story 141. Money. Seriously, that would help solve many, many of my problems. Not all of them, I admit, but the worst ones. Story 142. I desperately need more clients for my business. I am so tired of hearing how busy people are. I'd fudge love to be busy. Story 143. To own my own home without landlords bothering me about anything. To have my health improve drastically so that I can work at a well-paying job. To live my dream life. Story 144. A huge loaded Thanksgiving plate my way. Stuffing, mashed potatoes with no gravy, grandma's tamales, beans and rice, my tio's brisket and turkey, my tossed tortillas and sweet potato praline, and a slice of pecan pie, and a slice of pumpkin cheesecake. Story 145. I had $4,000 extra this month I intended to use to get a used pickup truck. $1,400 was pulled and went to an old debt. I don't blame the company for taking their money, but in hindsight, I really wished I pulled the $4,000 out of my bank so I could secure what happens to it. With what was left, I got pickup truck, but the morning after I realized I picked a really bad one, and now my truck money is gone. I go to sell the truck to try to get as much as I can back out of it with the intent I'll just save more, or maybe look if I can use it for a down payment. But today I met someone, and now the truck wants to sound like it's dying. Dude still bought the truck, but I end up getting half of what I was going in happy for it. But I'm not a mechanic, and I definitely wasn't going to invest in the truck, knowing it's got high miles, and I don't even like it. So now I'm down to $1,000. I put $700 in a little safe, and I'm going to make the $250 work for the rest of the month. So I guess I would love to be able to redo the last 2 weeks. LOL. Story 146. All the food I want, when I want it, so that no matter what I feel like having, it's already there in my kitchen, ready to be eaten. No cooking or going out somewhere to get it, restaurant or grocery store. Story 147. Company from a genuine friend who wouldn't ignore me or vanish from my life, because the friends who I kind of have are now not my friends anymore, due to them being constantly inconsistent with what they say and are also fake. Every weekend so far for the past few weeks and mostly months have been with being alone, and it's tough psychologically, which is getting to be more, and it crushes me. Story 148. A conversation with the love of my life. I wish he would just respond, and we could talk about what has happened over the last few months since he passed. Story 149. I wish I could get a bigger salary job while my mental health won't cause problems. My anxiety is eliminate me. I feel like my face would fall apart and everything else. Story 150. Money. Not like a lot of it, just enough to get me by. I'm sick of relying on the tips I get for food and gas. Story 151. $5 million. I love my job, but it doesn't pay the best. I love my wife of 30 years and my kids. I love my life. I just wish I wasn't strapped for cash at the end of every month. $5 million should do it. Story 152. A functional brain that lets me talk normally instead of taking the 10 minutes to say one word. Oh, also for it to not make me look like I'm a stroke or seizure while attempting to talk. Story 153. $500 million. I'd get to help a bunch of people, and I'd be able to spoil my kids rotten for a bit.